Hi there, Tyler. Hope your trip's going well, and looking forward to seeing you when you get back in town. Video lesson for today. I got 4 things I want to talk about. I'll go down the list. If you have any questions at the end or want me to look at anything, feel free to send it over, and that way I can give my 2 cents. All right, so first thing on the list is string skipping, level 1 and 2. So now that you got your 5 boxes under your fingers and memorized, right? Yeah. Oops, let's change that down. Now that you got them memorized, now it's time to start breaking them apart a little bit and being more linear with it. So I think I gave you the assignment last week or the week before about playing the scales on one string. So now that you can play A minor pentatonic on one string, right? And being creative with that, saying. So there I did a 3-note sequence going up the string. So 1, 2, 3, going back down, 1, 2, 3. Right, so what I did there was I used the single string approach to going up the neck and then using that to stop off at a box. In that case, I stopped off at box 2. So I started here at the beginning and threw myself into box 2 territory and landed on some chord tones, which we'll talk about more in a little bit. All right, so what you're gonna do now is you're gonna combine strings, so string skipping. The most basic of string skips is 2 adjacent strings. In this case right here, the B and the E string. So if I play, starting here in A minor pentatonic box 5, which is basically, that right there, so then I move into the next box, box 1 on the same string. And then the next box, probably the trickiest one, but not too bad. And then back home. And you can go up all the way as far as your range of your guitar. Right, you should be able to do the whole range. So say, for example, if I just put in here, I'll just put an A minor in. Let's do this one. Got my A minor. Let's do it up so you can actually hear it. Oh, sorry. It's too soon. Right? You go back down. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And another chord tone, because that's that right there. It sounds finite, sounds final. Other way you can do it too, and this may be a little trickier, so this is one that I would like you to focus on this because I don't think the adjacent string will probably take you too long to get down, is doing it on strings G and E. So in this case here, G and then E, if I play A minor pentatonic box 5, I hop over that B string right there. So I'm playing the notes of box 5 on strings 3 and 1, box 1, strings 3 and 1, box 2, and back to home base, and you can just keep on going if you, and right? That gets you out of like the whole like just like running up and down scales, because I mean that just sounds like exercises to me at some point, just kind of going up and down, or in this case, say when. Right, so that just like sounds like running up and down scales, but a nice way of breaking that apart is doing the string skips. So see if I throw that same A minor back on again, I use string skipping. It sounds less like a scale. Other ways you can do it, we don't need this today, just to kind of show you where you can go with it is. Ooh, look at that. Anyway, back to string skip. And it gets used to seeing things like that. Like I said, that's a little further down the road. We'll get there though, I promise. This is that, you kind of see where it ends up taking you to, right? So this week, try on the adjacent string and then doing strings G and then E. Stay in the same box. What I'm doing there is I'm just taking the box, I'm not leaving it, both directions. You can zigzag if you want it. That was making some fun. Chord tone. Right? So practice that for me. Next thing is looping project continued. All this stuff should be thrown in your looper. You got all that fancy stuff, so you got Ableton, so you can use that all that fancy interface stuff. What you're gonna do is be able to play A minor over the fretboard. Know where all the landing spots are, so that way when you're soloing, like I said last time, someone walking by will go, "Oh, Tyler hears the chord change because he's landing on those notes. He's emphasizing it. He's not just running up and down an A minor pentatonic scale or a C major pentatonic scale or C major for that matter, or a mode for that matter." So I have my A minor going. Start with the 3 cage chords. You know, A minor form, which is this. Then you have your D minor form, which is this. That one I gave you a few weeks ago. And then back to A minor form, which is this chord down here, obviously. Right? That's your A minor form. And you should be able to solo all over the neck with just those notes in that chord. Start with one shape. Even though you might not use those notes in the solo, and those low strings, oops, the shape accent. Oops. And yes, that's where eventually like sweep picking and stuff like that come in. You gotta be able to do economy picking first really well before doing sweeping though. So E form, or D minor form I should say. D minor form. Right, so I just used 3 shapes there. The next part of that is combine them with the pentatonic boxes. Oops. Land on those notes. They landed on A. Right, there I used the box 2 as a passing and landed on that A right there. Cool. So do that for me. So start with just the chord tone arpeggios, or sorry, the chord tone soloing, and then throw those boxes into the mix. If you feel like overwhelmed by like all the options, just stick in one box and then one arpeggio. So say for example, if I felt overwhelmed with all that, I'm like, okay, or you might not. If I play box 1, there there I stayed with that E minor form and just soloed inside of box 1. Right? And then you can go up to the next box and do the same thing here. So like you would do the D minor form. You spend the day with that. Right? It's all about, you have to really spend, like, to get good at this stuff, it's not just like to know the information. You really have to spend like hours looping this stuff. I mean, like sometimes I'll sit around if I'm not working on curriculum or something like that, I'll throw like one chord in the looper and go, okay, I haven't really spent time with A minor a lot lately. I'm going to go through and I'm just going to spend the next 45 minutes seeing all the possibilities and all the ways of coming at the different notes and things like that. So really spending a lot of time with just these loops and using the sequences as jumping off points and using the chord tones as landing spots within the pentatonic box is what I would do a lot of time. It takes hours and hours to kind of get really a feel for these lines. It's not like, okay, I know the fact, but can I use the fact for anything other than like being an information gatherer or something like that? I don't know. You can do this loop with an A minor chord or a C chord anywhere on the neck. I mean, you can play your C chord here, right? Great, have at it. Put your A minor there, have at it, right? C, you can do it down there too. You can also use like your minor 7 chords. I know you know a bunch of those jazz chords that you were showing me a few weeks ago. So yeah, you can put them in the loop. You can put A minor 7 in there. You can do the other ones, and you can do this one right here. The drop 2s that I sent to you that you said you know, throw those in there. You know, do C major 7, right? Right. If you know these right here, if you know those, right, use those as well. You can use these, right, all over the neck, right? Anything that you can do. A minor 7, C major 7, all cool. And then number 3 is, please send me a video back of you using this stuff after you had a chance to kind of really experiment with it. I know it's kind of like hard to say quick, solo now, just make it sound good, right? But how about this? What I would do is I would just let the cameras roll. So I would put on a backing track and just put on a video camera and just like record yourself and have it record for like 15-20 minutes, and then send me back the best stuff that you're most proud of. That way I can kind of see your A game of improvisation and soloing. That way I can give you some cooler stuff if you want. But I got to see kind of like where you are with it. That way we can kind of go from there. So awesome, send that back to me. And then the last thing I want you to do is your C major scale at box 1. It's in the Rock Secrets book, page 45. It's listed as pattern 3 in the book. I call it box 1 because it's connected to box 1 A minor pentatonic. It's just easier. We're just cataloging information. A rose is a rose, right? I call it box X, for example, if that works for you. But I use box 1 because that relates to the pentatonic scale that we learned, though. Usually the first one that people learn with me, even though you kind of already knew that one anyway. And so work on that scale. Get under your fingers. Now we said that the difference between the pentatonic scale and the major scale, other than just the amount of notes in there, are what are called tendency tones. These tendency tones want to draw back to something. We know we talked about it, I touched on it a little bit last time, but talk about it more. What these notes want to do is they want to be pulled back to, so say for example I'm playing, see like that E to F right here on the 2nd string? You've been programmed since birth, watching TV and listening to music in the Western tonal system, that this wants to go back down to here, and then this one, the B, the other note we added to the scale, wants to go up this way. Now you can go any direction you want, but they have the tendency to pull in those directions. That's why I call them tendency tones, because they have a tendency to take you back to these other notes. It's because you've been inundated with your whole life by going, right? Now that's why all that modern metal and stuff like that is super cool, because they use what's called modal harmony, and those rules don't necessarily apply in terms of the chord progressions. Don't apply in modal harmony. You can kind of go anywhere you want with modes. Modes are tonal center, but we'll talk more about that when we reach that point. So first thing though is just to get C major all over the neck / A minor all over the neck. You know it's time to move on to the next box when you can do 2 sequences proficiently. So if you can go through without a without one of those in there, what was I doing? Right, when you can sail up and down the neck, oops, there you go. Sorry, it's Friday. When you can do that with not that speed, gentleman's pace, when you can do that with 2 different sequence patterns, then it's time to do another box. And we'll just keep on rinsing and repeating until you can do the whole fretboard C major / A minor, and we'll transpose it and go from there. So work on that for me. Identify those tendency tones in the scale. They can do this too, but that sounds more final, and this sounds more final as, I'm sorry. Right. Now if I put the A minor backing track back on, there what I did, and that's a little more the direction that we're heading in, is combining this, if we're doing pentatonics, I use those chord tones and then combining it with the major scale. You have full command of the fretboard is ultimately what we're after. All right, man, cool. I look forward to seeing you. In person. Please send that video over so I can see kind of how things are trucking along and any other questions you have, and I will see you same time next time. Take care.